Again, greetings from the resort city of Orlando at a very fabulous, as I'm looking outside of the window, I can see even the people that love golf. Actually, we are located within a golf course. So it's a very beautiful, prestigious place, and I wished that I could use this opportunity to introduce you to some of the books that I've written in the past few years. And at this segment, I want to introduce you in the legal category to 3 books, and I'll explain how related they are, these 3 books. So I do have one, it's known as Refugee Protection in Canada, and I have another one, it's known as Inter-Universalism in a nutshell, and I have the last one, which is amazingly, it talks about something that doesn't look as if I'm talking about the law. It says, My Muslim Friends Learn About Jesus. I'll explain to you the importance of that topic and why that book. Now, I'll start with Refugee Protection in Canada. This is one of my masterpieces. And what I did when writing this book was to literally showcase the refugee determination system in Canada as a whole. So basically, I define the 3 main organizations in Canada that deal with refugee issues, and that is the government, which is the Immigration and Refugees and Citizenship Canada, famously known as IRCC, and then I deal with the agency that is responsible for dealing with people that must be removed from Canada for one reason or the other. It's known as CBSA. It is an agency of the government of Canada. Then the last one is the court system, what we know as the board, the Immigration and Refugee Board. I introduced them in the first few passages and pages of the book, so as I can build up some sort of a background so you can understand why this book was written, and then also understand why what is going to be discussed has to focus on those levels and aspects of issues. Now, importantly, I go into dealing with aspects of refugees. I define a refugee both from the jurisdictional aspect as well as from the international law aspect. I deal with it collectively because in Canada, the domestication of the protocols dealing with refugees is what determines the legal aspirations of Canadians, both in the applicability of the law as well as in the adjudication of the law of the refugees. I go into understandings of criteria and tests that a refugee claimant must meet in order to be accepted as a refugee in Canada or as an asylum seeker. Then I give detailed analysis of the law dealing with founded fear of persecution, reavailment, delay in making a claim. I deal here also with issues of state protection, as well as what we call IFA, internal flight alternatives. And then I go into the real applicability of the law. Now, I use the Iranian idea here because in my last 10 years, I've represented probably close to 500 Iranian clients, and mostly those who are running away from religious persecution. Now, I have dealt with other cases within that continuum of those that are running away from political as well as human rights issues. The ideas of the law or the legal principles are the same. You just apply them to respective places where they fit very well. Now, then I also give important foundational aspects that make claiming a refugee not just exciting, but as well as very principle-based. And I give real-life experiences and real-life examples of cases that I've won, including decisions and as well as case stories, so that somebody else who is claiming refugee in Canada can look to these examples and probably understand why their case themselves must be undertaken in a certain way. This book is a masterpiece on refugee protection in Canada. Now, since I represent a lot of Iranian refugees, I am probably one of the first, if not the first, to have represented clients on what we call Efan Hage. It was founded by one Mr. Mohammed, who is now in Canada as well as is now a refugee claimant in Canada. And this is not a religion, but it's a group, it's a sort of psycho-spiritual group. It's called in English inter-universalism. It's called in Persian or Farsi, it's known as Efan Hage. Now, I have written all the principles regarding that. I know I was one of the first to have represented clients claiming refuge in Canada based on that, so to speak, religion. It's not a religion, it's mostly like a movement, spiritual or otherwise. If you are representing a client in Canada, probably you'll find a lot of help from inter-universalism. And now, if you are representing other clients, or you are that client, who probably are running away from Iran or other Muslim countries, and you believe in some other religion like Baha'i faith or etc., you could also utilize the principles covered here to assist you. Now you understand why I wrote this little book. My Muslim friends learn about Jesus. I'm a Christian and I utilize my Christian beliefs illegally and positively. That means that I help people who are running away from persecution, especially those who are being persecuted for being Christians. That is my specialty. Now, one thing that has happened across the years is as I get these clients and I start to teach them about Christ, because they must pass a knowledge test about Jesus Christ and the Bible, I have found that most of them have genuinely turned to Christ. Whether when they were making a claim, they were still in the belief system, or they were doubting, they didn't have much knowledge, they have found that at the end of me representing them, they have won the case, but they have also won their souls for Christ. I don't think that's my primary goal, but it has become one of my most cherished accomplishments, which is an indirect accomplishment, not done by me, but done by the Holy Spirit Himself, helping those claimants to find the Lord and the Master. That's why I wrote it. My Muslim friends learn about Jesus. It simply can be used even in church for beginners, because I really tackled the beginnings of Christ. Who is Jesus? Who was His mother, His father, His cousins? What did He do first? What were the miracles? What were His disciples? I explained basically the principles, the basic principles of Christianity to those that are, for some of you are already Christians, that might look to be quite very porridge, isn't it? And very simplistic. But a person who has just become a Christian, who is learning how to become a Christian from Islam or another religion, this little book has been a fountain of help. By the grace of God, those I have represented, they have all become Canadian citizens or permanent residents, because they now understand what they understand. So if you are one from Iran or another country that seeks to become a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, but you have turned your faith to Christianity from another faith, this and this and these will be very useful books that I recommend you must seek and have, and they'll help you a great deal.